Priest, Warlock, and Rogue have been revealed, as well as the Demon Hunter Legendary. I'm Uncorrupt, and this is part 2 of my Maw in Disorder card review. Jumping right in to take a look at Priest, we see Theft Accusation. It's a 1-mana spell. Choose a minion, destroy it after you play a card copied from the opponent. Also important to note here, I guess, that it's a shadow spell that may have some synergies with the deck at some point in the future. I really don't think this card is good, and the theme that we're seeing so far is it feels like every class is getting some kind of single target removal, and it feels like most classes just don't want that removal. This card is cheap. It's possible that it can see some play, but it feels like Priest actually just has better options. Also, the 1-mana Light It Burns feels like it could be just fine for Priest. I really don't think this card is going to see all that much play. We also have a 4-mana 2/6 Incriminating Psychic, Taunt, Death Rattle, copy a random card from your opponent's hand. If this card's going to see any play whatsoever, it's going to be in Thief Priest. Thief Priest has gained a little bit of traction. It's shown some interest from certain parts of the community. Not really my cup of tea, but you may enjoy it. I'm not sure that this card is even good enough to go in the existing Thief Priest. Again, for me, this is just a throwaway card. I feel like if the meta gets a little bit better, if the power level goes up just a little bit of cards that are being revealed, then Thief Priest probably is no longer going to be a good enough deck to be able to play anyway. I'm going to say this card is also not very good. And finally, rounding out Priest for this mini set, we have Clear Conscience, 3-mana Holy Spell. Give a friendly minion +2/+3, and only you can target this with spells and hero powers. I feel like this card has the potential to be really, really good. Probably could fit in perfectly into an already existing Blessed Priest archetype. I almost feel like it's a little bit of redundancy for Boon of the Ascended. So if you miss your Boon of the Ascended, this card is a little bit cheaper option, and in a lot of cases, it's going to almost guarantee that the minion that you have buffed is going to stick around for another turn to potentially be Boon of Ascended the following turn, or give you an additional turn to be able to draw cards to be able to buff it up some more. I really like the card. It takes away some options that certain classes have to be able to remove your big minions in Blessed Priest. I think this is definitely going to make the cut. This card will see some play. Moving on to the Warlock cards, we have a 3-mana spell, Habeas Corpses. Discover a friendly minion to resurrect and give it Rush. It dies at the end of the turn. This card is a little bit strange right now. I think it's more of a future card. I'm not sure that there's anything right now that Warlock could do to really utilize this card to its maximum potential, but this is the kind of card that in the future, if things line up right, you could actually build a deck around. And what that might look like right now, I don't know. It's also possible that I'm just missing something. I can't think of everything. I don't pretend like I can, but I feel like that this card, at some point, with the proper package, could actually be really, really strong. I just don't think it's going to be right now. We also have a 2-mana Arson Accusation. Choose a minion, destroy it after your hero takes damage. It's a fire spell. Again, this looks like it's going to be Warlock's single target removal. It feels like every class, at least what we've seen so far, is getting a single target removal spell. I don't think Warlock wants it. I don't think we're going to be playing it. Card's just not good enough, in my opinion. Although, important to note about this card is you can actually target your own minions with it. So 2 mana, target your own minion, and then you could life tap, and you could actually destroy your own minion. Again, that's the kind of thing that it could allow for a really unique archetype, a fun, unique archetype in the future. I'm just not sure there's enough support for it right now, but these two cards put together, Habeas Corpses and Arson Accusation, at some point could have some really, really interesting decks come out of them. Warlock also receiving a minion, 2-mana Imp Poster, Battle Cry, choose a friendly imp, transform into a copy of it. This could actually be really good. I feel like this probably makes the cut into existing Imp Warlock decks. If you can imagine playing, say, like a Fiendish Circle, and then buffing with your Vile Library location, and then copying your biggest minion with this, potentially, you know, in a lot of cases, it's almost like a 2-mana faceless manipulator that's going to be able to copy imps. I feel like this is really good. I think this card's going to see some play, and it's probably going to increase the power level that we're seeing currently out of Imp Warlock. Getting into the last of the Rogue cards, we see a 6-mana 4/4 minion, Scribbling Stenographer. Rush costs 1 less for each card you've played this turn. Cards like this in the past have proven to be really, really good, especially if you can play a 0-mana 4/4 with Rush. Kind of puts you in the mind of like a Wildpaw Knoll, just with a different condition to be able to activate it. The current problem is Rogues, in a lot of cases, aren't playing 6 cards in a single turn. Or if they do, they're only playing 6 cards in a single turn, 1 turn of the game. So if you're running 2 copies of this, you have to have them both in your hand to really be able to utilize them. Rogue really still just looking for card draw. It's not going to have enough cards in hand to be able to play this for 0 or even really cheap on a consistent basis, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be good enough, and it's not going to make the cut just yet. If Rogue gets additional card draw in the future, this card could be good, could be really good. Rogue also receiving a 2-mana secret, Perjury. Secret, when your turn starts, discover and cast a secret from another class. It's interesting that you get to select a card from another class, and it's, it goes into play immediately. Your opponent can't proc this secret, so, there's some potential things that you can do there. End of the day, bottom line, Secret Rogue is never going to be good. I can't say never, but it's going to need a lot more support than this to actually be good. It could be fun if people enjoy playing that archetype, but I don't think it's going to be strong enough to be able to compete in any meta that we can see currently on the horizon. Unfortunately, it just kind of feels like a wasted card slot in the mini set for Rogue. Would have liked to see, something to help out Rogue's card draw, to be honest. And then the 2-mana Murder Accusation, I actually covered this in yesterday's video. This card was revealed previously. And after having some time to think about it, I stand by my initial analysis. I said that Rogue does not want single target removal, and that I didn't think this card would be playable. I stand by that. I saw some discussion in the comments, and actually some people thought, made what I thought could possibly be some good points. Maybe something like a Jackpot Rogue might want to play this. Again, I just don't think so. I don't think Rogue wants this. I don't know how you find room to be able to fit this into your deck. And it's also just conditional removal. Your opponent can potentially play around this. And so, that's not good. Cards that are conditional that allow your opponent to have power have proven to be not very good in Hearthstone's past. So, again, I'm going to say that this card just isn't good enough, but more than happy to be wrong. Hit me up in the comments if you'd like to disagree with me again on this one. And finally, the Demon Hunter Legendary has been revealed. This is actually the first mini-set Legendary that the Demon Hunter class has ever received. 4-mana 2/6 Prosecutor Meltranix. Battlecry, your opponent can only play their left and rightmost cards on their next turn. Card feels really, really powerful just to look at it right off the bat. It is extremely limiting to your opponent's turn. Feels like it's more punishing to classes that tend to have more cards in their hands, or decks that tend to have more cards in their hands. It's just the ultimate disruption of your opponent's game plan. You turn your opponent basically into a top decker, and you think there's a lot of decks that in the mulligan want to keep something expensive. For example, there are decks that may want to keep Sire Denathrius in their opening hand. If that's on the far left and this comes down anywhere between turns, say 4 and 9, they're really just playing their top deck card and that's it. So I don't like to see this kind of card in Hearthstone. It's going to feel really bad to play against this. It's kind of like another Theatar or a Mutinous. It really creates that bad feeling when it gets played against you, but when you play it, it's going to be really strong. I think the power level of this card is off the charts. It's probably going to go in just about every single Demon Hunter deck. The question is, can you really justify this being in Hearthstone with the negative moments that it's going to create for the opponents, people that are having this card played against them? The reveals keep coming. My reviews are going to keep coming as well. I'm Uncorrupt. Thank you for watching.